What was my most bizarre call? I was working for Baltimore PD. It was my first month as a rookie. In fact, it was really bizarre. I got a call. We got a call to a residence of a young man, a Hispanic man, age 30. I think he was about age 29 or 30, and he had been beaten half to death. I don't know how he survived the beating. I mean, this guy. Both of his hands were broken. I guess the guy tried to break one of his legs, and I think he got interrupted by UPS, by a FedEx driver, who knocked the door, and he crawled out a window and took off on foot. No witnesses at the scene of the crime, and he did, however, drop his wallet. We got his ID and his home address because the detectives found the wallet. Beat this man half to death, so we're going after we're looking after for a attempted murder charge. He ended up doing 15. We tried to get, I don't know, it was 15 to life, but he did a stretch in the pen. So we got traced back to his residence, the subject's residence, and we entered that SWAT center because turns out he was a member of a local motorcycle club. They're very huge club. They're the biggest club, and I'm not going to name the name here, but they're the biggest club in the world. And he was the man. In fact, he said he did it. He said, "Fuck yeah, I beat the fucking shit out of him. I broke his goddamn hands too." I quote. He took a ball-peen hammer to his both hands and broke his hands. That's where he said he was getting started, but the FedEx kid showed up, and he heard the pop-up and then the doorbell, and he took off out a window and left that guy. I don't know if he's gonna kill him, or he said, I would have killed him if it wasn't for the goddamn FedEx guy, end quote. So it turns out the prominent member of the outlaw motorcycle club, they're quite violent club, motorcycle team, troop, club. And he had a pet pig, it turns out. And I actually interviewed the young man, and he was a big biker guy. He wasn't that young, but he's huge. Just his hands was the size of a Ford F-250. His hand, just huge. He sits in an interrogation room, and he takes up half the room, and we have to shuffle by his knees just to get in the goddamn room and sit down and begin the interview. And he was this big, huge biker, very violent psychopath, drunk, raging alcoholic. You get a psychopath who's a raging alcoholic at the same time. You're going to see him a lot, and unfortunately, and he was in tears. This big mountain of a man, biker, was in tears. He said, "It was my fucking pig. Yeah, it was my fucking pig. I love that goddamn pig." It turns out because I actually sat with the man for a while because I've never interviewed a psychopath, raging alcoholic that cared so much about anything, much less a fucking pig, right? Which is kind of a weird thing too, because I'm a cop, and he was crying over a pig. And turns out that the young man who he beat half to death, he came home and his pig was missing, and he found out she found out where this young man lived. He found out who took it, and when he got to the residence, he said, quote, "Where the fuck is my pig?" End quote. Or no, quote, "Where the fuck is my pig? Find him, give him to me, or you're dead." End quote. And the young Hispanic gentleman just stood there at the doorway, and there's something cooking in the kitchen, and it turns out that the young man had stolen the pig from our subject and killed it and ate it, or was cooking it to eat it, and he kind of shoved the guy out of the way, and to his horror, his own terror, he noticed there was a big pot cooking in the kitchen, and he saw two pig ears in the snout on the chopping block, and he had gotten drunk one night and tattooed, you know, uh, his local chapter of his motorcycle club on the pig snout, and he knew it was Skippy. He said it was my fucking Skippy. He fucking killed and cooked my Skippy, end quote. And I have to admit, as a member of law enforcement, I mean, if I had anything that I loved and cherished, he trained the pig to get his remote to the television, and he could sit in his chair in the living room, and the pig, he had trained the pig. The fucking pig could go into the kitchen, nose the refrigerator door open, grab a Budweiser out of the bottom row of the door shelf, and nose the refrigerator closed, and bring his master a beer. And I thought that was really sweet. And as a member of law enforcement, I can't really say this. This is off the record, but would I have done what he did if somebody killed my pet? I'll tell you what, if somebody even looked at my dog, Rennie, my German Shepherd, just trained canine, and even looked at my dog wrong, I'd probably take out my service pistol and fucking empty a mag into his fucking chest. You don't fuck with people's pets. You don't fuck with my pet, that's for sure. Because I'll fucking find you, and guess what? You're not going to wind up on paper. You might wind up becoming paper someday, but you touch my pets, you're done. You're done. So I told the guy, this big biker in tears, I said, you know what, man? I'm going to let you out the back door, bro. I called him bro. And he said, normally somebody calls me bro who ain't my bro, I break their fucking face, but since you're doing me a solid, so I'm going to let this one slide. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. He goes, well, that's the club etiquette. And I go, oh, my bad, sir. So I'm walking towards the back door, and the fucking chief comes around the corner. Hey, what's going on with him? You're not on the transport team. And I go, oh, no, I was getting him a Pepsi. And he goes, well, why are you taking him with you towards the back door? And I'm like, no, we're getting a Pepsi. The fucking Pepsi machine's up front. I go, I know. I left, it was during COVID. I left some toilet paper outside. Well, why are you taking him? So he can help me carry. Well, why does he need to carry the toilet paper? And I said, because he's a big, strong guy. And he goes, toilet paper's not heavy. And I'm like, I was fucked. And I go, look, Chief, he's in tears, fucking sobbing in tears. And the man lost, his fucking pet was slaughtered, earlier this week. And he's being charged with bitch slapping. All I said was, slapping the guy for slaughtering, fucking cooking his fucking pig. He's cooking his pet in the fucking. He saw his pet cooking in a fucking pot in this dude's kitchen. What would you do? And the chief said, oh, I'd fucking kill him. But I'm the chief of police. I can get away with murder. And so I said, I was going to take him out back for a cigarette. He wanted a cigarette. Is that cool? Can we take him out back? And he said, no. Fuck him. He's a fucking, he's being charged. Bring him back in the room. Lock him back down the wall. And I was fucked. He was fucked. We're both fucked. So, I bring him commissary, and, I brought him commissary. And the story gets even stranger because I got on another call that there was a disturbance, and I recognized the address, and it was that same guy. And I came into the front, knocked in front. The front door was wide open, so I'm like, hello? And I heard a different voice go, we're in the kitchen. And I go in the kitchen, and there's a young man holding this big biker down in a like this jujitsu hold. He had his legs and arms wrapped around this biker's neck. The kid was like a third of this biker's size, and I said, what's going on? And the kid goes, he's drunk, he wants to brawl, I'm not in the mood. I go, who are you? And he goes, he said his name, and he said it was his stepson. I came back to say hi to my stepdad. And he looked like a really young, respectful man, a young man. And I go, can you let your stepdad go right now? He goes, if he's going to be cool, I'll be cool. I go, sir, can you be cool? And he's like, yeah. Kind of drunk. And he just wanted to brawl with his stepson, maybe relive some old times, I mean, I don't know anybody who hasn't. I fought my dad. I didn't have a stepdad, but I would have fought him too, That's what boys do. They fight, go a few rounds with the old man, square off with the old man, maybe after a few shots of Buffalo Trace whiskey or something. And it turns out the kid goes, yeah, I just came back to say hi, man. I haven't seen him in like over a year, and I've been working out of state. And all of a sudden, he was really drunk. He was day drinking, and he's really drunk, and he wanted to brawl. And I said, I'm not brawling with my stepdad. And he took a swing, and I said, no. And I ducked, and I said, no, I'm not doing this. Took another swing, and he ducked again. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, the kid, so he said, I swept both his knee, which was very hard for a 300-pound outlaw biker. And he said, and then I threw another thrust kick to the back of the knee, and he went down. And then I grabbed him and cinched up a guillotine. I think a guillotine is it's weird. It's funny how the kid said I cinched up a guillotine, like it's, I was doing some laundry, fucking taking my stepdad to the ground, and night-night. And then he said, jiu-jitsu, you can't fix stupid, but you can choke it out. He had the t-shirt, said that. Jiu-jitsu, you can't fix stupid, but you can choke it out. And that was definitely the strangest call I've ever gotten. So that was the short answer. I'm Detective Llewellyn from Baltimore Police Department, and just remember the Baltimore Police Department is looking out for the the best interests of the people of Baltimore, especially the poor people, black people. We try to keep it safe for everybody, especially white people. When we make a stop, we make sure all blacks are, it's basically, I mean, even if it's just a broken tail light, it's a felony stop. If you're black, and we know you're black, it's a felony stop. We're not coming nowhere near you without you getting on the ground with our weapons drawn, because we're Baltimore Police Department. We believe in safety and safe policing. Thank you, and have a nice day, and have a safe day.